Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
We may be live, or we may not, depends on if she heard the knock, because the light doesn't work over there.
Oh, it doesn't.
Oh,
It's on
well,
here.
we're over there on the screen.
Yeah, so we're up.
And I think
Okay.
we are. I think we're good to go, and we can call the
Thank
meeting
you,
to
thank
order.
you, LCAC.
Can call the meeting to order, and don't tell me we didn't print agendas. Was I supposed to
Nope,
do that?
there's
Oh, you
agendas.
have 'em.
Quorum is
Oh,
present.
here's one.
Thank you.
Is it an agenda?
Everybody have an agenda or copy?
Are
Yep.
Paul and Gina coming?
They should be, yep.
Okay.
All right. So, let's see. We do have a quorum,
Yes.
and we are good to go, even though we have a few people that are away. And I will actually explain to you why Patty, under our announcements, I will explain where Patty is today, because I find it quite exciting.
Definitely.
So let me,
Exciting.
before I get to that, just remind
She's
you.
at Foxwoods.
She probably might like to be there, I don't know. But actually, this is more exciting, and it has to do, I think, with money. But anyway, before we get to announcements, I just have to remind you it's an open meeting. So, I've done that. Now we can move on to the announcements, and let me get to that.
Do you have to second your opening the meeting or anything?
No.
Okay.
I just have to find one thing here. Bear with me, I'm not as organized as I thought I was. That's it. I have it.
Patty's at the senior housing meeting at the State House, right?
So Patty is, if you let me, I'll read this to you, but I have something else about it I wanted to read to you. I received an invitation online last week from Keith, sent to us. And it said, "You are cordially invited to join Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, Secretary of Housing and Economic Development Jay Ash, Undersecretary of Housing and Community Development Janelle Chan, I think, and Mass Housing Executive Director Crystal Cornegay for a Housing Choice Initiative announcement. Monday, May 14th, today, at 1 o'clock. Patty went to represent us because she is the chair of the Housing Subcommittee. She did an immense amount of work on housing for us. And when I looked to see who received this invitation in addition to myself on the email, it was Eddie Mullen, the chair of the Planning Board, and the selectmen. And so I'm thinking, this is rather important, I think. So,
Say so.
so I made arrangements, and Patty wanted to ride, and so Maren Toohill from the Planning Board was going, and she is giving Patty a ride into this event. So this Housing Choice Initiative, I do have the email that Keith sent me. I can't find it right at the moment, but if you want to read it after the meeting, I'll let you see it. But essentially what has happened apparently is that this is a program that the state has put together, and Littleton was the first town in Massachusetts to apply. And so I don't know what the announcement is. I've heard scuttlebutt that it involves,
Giving us $100 million to spend like that.
I think they might be awarding some funds, so I'm not sure about that. I don't want to, they probably know already because they're there.
Where is the meeting?
At the State
State
House.
Oh, okay.
The Grand Staircase, Massachusetts State House, Boston, Mass, at 1 o'clock today. So we will find out, I'm sure, and I think it's quite exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
So it must have to do with the zoning amendment that that went through in November, and it talked about the fact that this is an opportunity for towns to apply for grants, et cetera, et cetera. So as I said, I have the email, and I just can't put my finger on it at the moment, but I do have it here, and I'll show it to you if you're interested later. So that's where Patty is. And Maureen has another commitment that she really wanted to attend, so. And Jean is still recovering. She's had a little relapse with the area in her leg, from her surgery, so. So it's best that she not be here. She was going to be here if we didn't have a quorum, to make sure we had a quorum, and we were gonna prop her leg up for her. But when David arrived, as I saw him, I said, "Oh, you can go." Go where you should be.
Is she coming or not?
No, she will not be here. She went home, where she should be,
Okay.
so. All right, so, we have another announcements. Any from any of the board members? Before I get too involved with a couple I have? Anyone think of anything? No?
We're just, the awareness committee is just working on their, the listing of phone numbers to.
Well, you can update
important
us.
things.
You're on the,
Huh?
you're updated, you're on the agenda for an
Oh,
update.
Lucky me.
Well, you can just give us a brief update.
It'll
You
be
notice
very
down
brief.
under new business? Okay. I would like to make an announcement about the ribbon cutting for the fire station
Oh,
for seniors, just to make sure that people are aware. We all paid for it. We all should really take advantage of this nice day. This Saturday, there's a ribbon cutting at 9 a.m., I believe, at the fire station, and I'm guessing there's an open house. People would be allowed to go in, and do you know much about it, Liz?
Not more than that.
No.
I haven't seen anything in.
There's a banner they just put up, I think, today,
No,
on
but
one over
in
119.
Either of the papers.
Oh, well, maybe they'll get it out this week. But that's even more reason to have it as an announcement here for seniors to hear about. So plan on going Saturday morning. Yeah, I think it's great. It looks like it's a beautiful, beautiful building.
I heard about it today online.
Okay.
I think the decision was just made. I think it was contingent on some landscaping being finished up. But I think that's all set now.
I heard all along that they were going to have an open house once the landscaping was completed and things were under control, so. Yes, Mary?
I don't know if it's appropriate at this time, but at the town meeting, the plastic didn't pass.
Oh,
It doesn't fit in here now.
sure.
Announcement? No?
No, well, it's nothing to do particularly with seniors, but it's fine, it's good information. I understand also that there's a state initiative that's in the works in that regard about that too, so I don't know. I heard it did not pass in town, though.
The one on the bags?
Plastic bags.
It did not.
No. There was a lot of discussion about that on both sides.
Well, it was
Right.
very
It was a
interesting.
very, very interesting
It was.
discussion.
There were two very good presentations, and, you know, and it was very close, so I think it's good to have a second thought on it.
Oh, and here is the announcement for further information about the housing initiative I did find.
I have an article here that I was going to give to her. It's on seniors confront late life bullies. That never occurred to me, but it happens.
Okay.
So
It
maybe you'd
definitely-
like that later.
Hang on to it, and we can give it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
later.
All right.
Thank you.
I have a couple of other announcements too, and one is that I did appoint Jean Johnson. I communicated with all of you because we had this request that came as a result of the Board of Selectmen on April 9th voted to establish a Transportation Advisory Council, it's going to be called TAC, to promote collaboration in the development of collective transportation goals and priorities for the town of Littleton. It was to be comprised of one member and one alternate each from the Board of Selectmen, Planning Board, Finance Committee, Council on Aging, Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, Disabilities Commission, and one member from the community at large, appointed by the Board of Selectmen and Planning Board. And so therefore, I did communicate with people about that. I brought it up right after we received it, and I did appoint Jean Johnson. And then they wanted somebody to be an alternate, and Liz has stepped up and is going to be the alternate to that. But it has bearing on seniors because of, safe walking, and Pamela was involved in some ways in it, so that's why we need to have representation there. And Jean is willing to do that.
When is this committee going to be started?
I don't know. But I
Right,
just
so
wanted,
which representative?
Jean Johnson is our representative for that committee. It was something she felt she could manage, and so she's willing to do that, to represent us, so.
And you said something about an alternate.
That's Liz. It says, "The boards listed above are asked to appoint one member and one alternate to serve.
Thank you.
The Selectman Town Administrator's Office will advise for the one citizen at large member as part of the annual town board appointment process to get underway. So just stay tuned, but I wanted you to know that that's where we were with that, okay? In case you get asked or anything. Okay. And the other announcement I have is really targeted for seniors in the community, because I wanted seniors to be aware that all seniors in Littleton have an opportunity to get lunch out 3 days of the week for under $3 or under. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity, and people should be aware. On Tuesdays, you can go to the Littleton Cafe, which is part of Neshoba Garage, and Andrea, the owner, has offered to feed seniors for a charge of $3, and you choose right from her luncheon menu. The other two opportunities are Thursday at the senior diner. There is always a special luncheon available for $3. And Fridays at the senior diner, there is a homemade salad, and you can go in and just eat the homemade salad for $1. If you want it with the meal, it's $2. So there's 3 opportunities for seniors to get out to lunch every week. And I just think people need to be aware of that and take advantage of it now that the good weather is here especially. So I encourage you all the seniors that are watching, to spread the word among your friends too. All right. Those are my 3 announcements. So-
When you say $2, you mean if they buy the luncheon, they get the salad in addition, or is the salad another $1?
No, it's a total of $2. They get the dinner and salad.
Okay.
I double-checked with Gail before I came to the meeting today to make sure I had it straight in my head. So, okay.
I just have one announcement. This is from Maren. So Maren from the planning board, she's a planning administrator here. She said that she's had several seniors come to her asking about the Littleton Affordable Housing Trust Board of Trustees. So she wanted us to know that forms are available for that no later than noon on Tuesday, June 5th, if you're interested in being on the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees.
And maybe we need to explain what that is?
Okay,
See-
the planning board has announced that there are applications available for what?
The Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees.
Okay, are there funds available or applications for funds?
This is to be
Be
on
on
the
the-
trust,
On the board.
on the board, Bob.
Oh, okay, there are openings on the board.
They are just putting the board together. This is part of the package that was voted in November.
On the board for the
Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees.
affordable.
So all these
It's a
board
lot of
members,
repetitive words in that.
all these board members will do would be administer the trust fund.
I believe so.
Trust fund. Okay,
Nothing, nothing to do with affordable housing as getting into,
No.
just money managing the
The
fund.
trust, if you recall, there were 3 things
Yep.
that had to happen to be voted on at the November meeting, because it was a package deal. And this trust fund, if you recall too, if a contractor is building and they do not want to build X number of affordable units as part of their development, then they have to come up with, and I can't quote you exactly how it's figured out, I don't have it all in front of me, but they have to come up with a donation
Right.
of money, and that money goes into this trust fund to be built and grow, so the town will put it towards affordable housing. So they are looking to develop the trust fund, Board of Trustees, they're calling it. And I do believe a member of the COA board is involved in that, as a member, but they're also looking for other people to, obviously, to be involved
You
in
mean
this.
someone is already involved in this?
No, nobody has been appointed yet. They're just developing this board now.
Do
Oh,
they,
okay.
do they
And where do you
want to
get the
have someone from our
applications?
board?
If I recall correctly, the way it was written and voted upon, it does involve a COA board member.
And where do you get the applications?
You can get them online, or you can go to the planning board.
Okay.
And if you have further questions, go to the planning board. Maren will help you and understand it. And it is right across the hall here. They're not there, I don't think, today, though. Maren's not there. I know she's in Boston. She's the one that gave Patty a ride, so. But it is an important thing, because as time goes on and money is, you know, contractors opt out of providing, you know, the planning board determines how many units of affordable housing depending upon the size of the, whatever they're building. And I can't speak to that, really. But the funds that they collect, you know, it could be $20,000 or what, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would go into this trust. So they're looking to establish that and get it in place now. And they need a board of trustees to manage it. So basically, that's what they're doing. Correct?
Correct.
Got it, okay. Not that I know all the details of it. I wouldn't begin to be able to try to explain it to you, but Eddie Mullen could, or Maren, so. That's great. Glad you got that out. So, interested seniors, pay attention. Things are on the move here in town as far as housing goes and space.
They are not looking specifically for someone from the Council on Aging, just
I do believe, as I said, that as the law was written and voted in, there would be a member of the COA board involved in this. But there would be other people too, and I think that's what they're looking for.
One shall be a member of the Council on Aging, and 3 shall be residents
There you
who
go.
bring relevant
we're going to
experience.
have to appoint someone to that board.
Ultimately, yes, there will be a COA board member, has to be appointed. We have not been asked to do that part yet, but
So
it'll be
we don't
coming.
make the application? We don't fill out an application?
Not
We
if
will
you,
just-
if you're appointed and you, as representing the COA board, no.
Okay.
But you could, even though you're
As
sitting
a
on.
citizen, you could.
There you go.
Does someone want to be on it? That's what I figured.
So you can as a citizen, and then a COA board member could also be on it. You might not always be on the COA board,
Yeah,
you know, but you might
I'm
want
thinking
to,
about that.
don't think about
Put it
that.
on our agenda for next time to appoint a member.
All right. Yes, Annalee.
I'm not quite sure where this would come under. I don't see any place for my question on here, so I'll bring it up now,
Fine.
and you can tell me when, if it's appropriate or not. Our pastor of our church, Nancy Wilbanks, brought up a question to some, I know Bob knows, and I don't know if you know.
I do, I
you do
replied.
know, but- Oh, okay.
Are you talking about the transportation to church?
Transportation, yeah.
Yeah. Transportation is, let me just say this.
Huge.
Transportation is one of our 4 targeted concerns. As a result of the needs assessment, transportation was identified as a problem here in town. We know that. It has come a long way just in the 6 years that I've been involved in the board as far as having been improved. It is not, the COA board, you know, can advocate for seniors, that's our job. And a lot of it, we've increased the drivers. Bob knows more about transportation and what's happened in the past few years than I do, I think. So, but, yes, it's a need. We know there's a need. We know there's a need for 7-day.
Maybe everybody else does.
I think everybody, you know, realizes there's a
We have a
huge
woman in
need.
our church who now cannot get around on her own. She needs a wheelchair van in order to get anywhere. And
It doesn't-
consequently, it doesn't run on the weekends right now, so that she cannot come to church. And I'm just wondering, other churches probably have the same
They probably
problem.
do, yep.
And it's certainly well worth
And-
looking into to,
We may want to. We did have a transportation, as I said, we actually have the needs, this all kind of segues together, and we haven't even approved our minutes. But we can do that in a minute. We don't have to stick right to the agenda, but maybe we could hand out the needs assessment to people like Ann Lee and David. Mary didn't have a copy. Mary hasn't, and Mary Picard, the 4 of them. So that you can read the needs assessment and
Thank you.
figure out and learn what UMass found when they did this. And this
Oh,
was
okay.
only done in 2015. It's lengthy. There's a lot of data, and they're amazing stuff.
You have a copy though, right, Bob?
Yeah. So the others hang on to, and then we can, I know Maureen needs a copy.
Point
We'll
is,
hang on to
where,
this.
if someone wanted to bring it up, and I think this is Ann Lee's question, where would we go with it? There is a transportation commission in the town which we could go to.
But I think we need to look at our own transportation. We have
Okay,
to
so-
look back at what we established on our
It might be put
board.
on the agenda for the subcommittee to deal with, and, okay.
Revisit, next month, we should put it on the agenda perhaps to revisit. Because it is, we established 4 areas of concern as a result of that needs assessment. One was transportation. The housing and the space issues have become so time-consuming
Right.
that has been sitting there, so to speak. So I think we need to revisit that and then go from there. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
yep.
Well, I can talk to you later about that, because I had some other questions about that. But there is a need. I mean, I thought about it. It would be nice to be able to say we could provide transportation to the fire station ribbon cutting.
Right.
You know, there's such a need.
Yeah, I also met with the Disability Commission last month too. They're also looking for expanded hours in transportation. So it is on our radar, and hopefully with the Transportation Advisory Committee coming together, we'll come up with some solutions townwide, not just Council on Aging providing transportation for everyone.
Because I know there's other people in our church that
Yep.
only get to church because
You're right.
someone
Someone
from
brings
church goes and picks them up and
Right.
brings them to church.
Yeah.
And so,
You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. At St. Anne's, we bring our friends or neighbors, you know?
But, you know, the
But
base.
this one person that I'm bringing up can't. You have to have a wheelchair van.
This
You
person,
can't transfer
she no longer can transfer
Yeah,
from her wheelchair
Wheelchair.
into a vehicle.
into a vehicle.
She needs to be in her wheelchair in a vehicle now.
Right,
So that means, you know, a van. And
right,
we can't, the town cannot loan out
right.
the vans because it's a town property and insurance and everything else. So that becomes another concern
But then there's the whole liability. If you pick somebody up
as an individual.
as an individual and something happens,
So that's why it's an issue. So you're right. You're absolutely right, and we will put it on the agenda. So I'll make a note right here so we make sure we get that in. All right.
When I first came to Littleton, they had a limo service where the town had volunteers, and I became one of them. And I got a name and a person, and I took her to Emerson to work at certain days and certain hours. But it was a volunteer position.
Right, yeah. But I think Liz has pointed out, once the TAC committee gets going too, that's a town-wide group, and so with all of these other groups. So I think people will start addressing some things.
Okay, let's make sure I got this right. Ann Lee raised an issue of providing wheelchair transportation for seniors to go to churches for worship on weekends.
It's
We
not
put it
just
on-
wheelchair,
And I
though.
put in
It
parentheses,
was
we put it on the
disability.
housing subcommittee agenda, and it is
Well,
being discussed by
My
the town
question was for
transportation commission.
wheelchairs, but,
you know,
Not going to be on the housing subcommittee agenda.
I'm sorry.
Transportation.
Subcommittee. Thank you,
Oh,
that's where
but-
I asked.
is it just wheelchairs that we're talking
No,
about? Or is it disabled individuals?
Disabled, I think.
yeah,
I think it's more disabled.
Okay.
We don't
so-
want to just say wheelchair.
no.
So that would also encompass citizens of the town who are not seniors, perhaps.
Well, because this is a department, we're concerned with seniors. But Liz manages the Department of Elder, which is seniors, and Human Services,
Right.
which is non-seniors. So-
So
And we
the-
do currently transport non-senior
Okay,
residents.
That's fine,
Yeah.
as long as it's included, that's
Yep,
good.
that's
We're
right.
human services too.
We're humans too.
Yeah.
Okay, just remember, that all we've got here is an announcement, and we're not holding a discussion or a vote, so
No, that's,
I'm
we
just
can move
putting
on.
down what the,
What was
Just a
said.
discussion.
Just an announcement.
It was an announcement about the need, and you're right, you're absolutely right. It's a good way to bring it up.
was under announcements. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, allergies are really getting me. I think we're done with announcements, are we? Anyone
I
else?
certainly hope so, we have.
A lot.
We've got 12 pages already.
7 of them.
Yeah. All right, moving on. May we have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 9th meeting?
I have a problem with that.
Oh,
If you look under number C3, Awareness Subcommittee, Mary Kettle
Three.
Lunati is on that thing also.
Where's
It's the
this?
second page.
I don't see
On the
it.
second page at the top, number C,
I see three.
Awareness
Awareness Committee.
Subcommittee is Maureen, myself, and Mary, you're on that committee, correct?
Yes, she is. Yes.
So that is not
Okay,
correct.
wait a second.
Add Mary Catalano. Good catch, Mary Picard.
I don't know how I do this. It's
Actually, and
amazing.
since you've done that, would like to point out that the numbering is off. Number 3 and number 3. On the first page, you go number 1, 2, and we have 2 number 3s.
Wait a minute, one thing at a time. And
Well, I'm just telling them so they can look.
Okay, so this is a 4,
It just needs to be changed.
this is a 6.
Seven,
This is a 7.
9, and 10.
Okay, so I've corrected the Mary Cotlanata. What's the next one?
The next one is, if you look on the first page,
Yeah, go ahead.
you have number 1, number 2, 2 number 3s.
Okay.
Just change the numbers.
All the way through. Get
All the
that.
way.
Isn't that easy to just change the numbers?
I know, but that's all that needs to be done. It's easier
A,
than,
B, C.
It isn't, because it's on an automatic.
Right.
yeah.
Now I've got 2 number 4s. And I can do that all the way down the page.
All right, are there
You
any
get to
other,
10.
are there any other corrections?
Okay, it says Director's Report, see attached. Do we have an attachment for that?
You had one, yes.
Yes, you had it in your packet. This gets posted, and that, do you send
But-
that to be posted? Bob?
What?
When
I
you
have no
says-
idea whether they're attached. I say to attach them because there was something that was
This is last
involved.
month's minutes.
And technically, the minutes should have those attachments when they go out.
I've never seen them, but I don't, there are no minutes posted. I checked again today. There are still no COA minutes posted since 2016.
So where's the hangup?
I don't know. We had them, they're not on, if you go on the town website and you go under agendas and minutes, they should be, if you clicked on minutes, you should be able to go down to the Council on Aging, click on that, and open up the minutes. That's how it works with all the other agencies and boards and things. There's nothing in there since 2016. I checked again this
Yeah,
morning.
for some
But didn't
reason-
they say it went into the wrong place?
So when you go onto the town website and you
I'm
go to
here.
departments and then
I don't
Elder and
understand
Human
what you're saying, 'cause
Services, the very first option, I believe, is Council on Aging. If you click there, it'll bring you to the Council on Aging page, and that's where our minutes are.
But see,
They're
they
showing
have,
up on its own separate page.
but they have to be, I think, posted for the town. Not
They're on the
our
town
separate-
website, but they're just in a separate spot for some
I don't know,
reason.
is that right? We should get, there should be directions on, where you
Yeah.
click on the town website. Well, I'll have to talk to Diane about that.
Yeah.
So
All right.
this report would be on the elders.
And Human
Site.
Services. But
Okay,
when
it
you-
was voted to accept the minutes of the April 9th, 18 meeting with two corrections. Okay.
Well, we haven't had a motion yet, so we
I
can't
make a
vote.
motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting on April 9th, 2018.
So moved.
Thank you kindly. I have a motion, and it has been seconded. All those in favor to accept the minutes.
Aye.
Mary, David, are you okay? We're, all right, unanimous, Bob. Now you can go ahead. Thank you. But that was, I'm glad you read them and you caught that, especially since I didn't get them out to you ahead of time. That's really good.
I never read them, but today I did.
Okay, in your packet, just before I invite Nancy, I think, who's representing the Friends, to come forward, you can come forward anyway. Actually, there's a desk tag down there if you want to, either side of Ann Lee. But I do have, we did not have the minutes of their board meetings at our last meeting, so I do have both, we're now caught up. I have the March minutes from the Friends meeting, March and April. They're in your packets. But we also, are you coming up and talking to us? Well, then come. Come up and talk to us and share, because there's a lot of good things going on, Nancy.
I didn't think I had much to tell you, but a lot has happened since I left the house this morning. So anyway,
Oh, wow.
I didn't even get a chance to tell Liz. So Barbara McCrae apologizes for not being here today, but she wanted to talk about The Follies, the movie.
Oh, okay.
And we are having an encore movie. It's going to be on June 10th at the high school at 2 o'clock. And it will be $5 a ticket. And for those of you who don't know what the Futuristic Follies is, the movie, it's a farce about Littleton 200 years from now. And I was in the movie, and all the people that were in the movie did not see the movie until it was presented. And I tell you, it was good. We laughed. I had people sitting next to me that were out loud giggling, laughing.
It was funny. It was.
And we knew some of the selectmen were there, and Anthony was there. And so we were just wondering how this would go over with them, because it was a farce, you know.
But a true farce.
A true farce. It was. So I would suggest that you make the time and go. I'm going to see
Where
it
is the
again.
tickets available?
Thrift shop, or at the door,
Oh, at the door?
or the thrift shop, yes.
It's gonna be
What
the
is it?
same place they did the last one, right?
June the 10th.
June 10th,
Yeah, 2 o'clock,
that's a Sunday,
yes.
at what?
High school,
2 o'clock.
at the high school?
No, at what time?
2
2
p.m.
o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Sorry.
It is funny.
I saw it, yeah.
It is.
I wanted to talk about the intergenerational program. The Book Buddy program ended last week. And that's when senior citizens, once a month, went to read at Shaker Lane to Mrs. Barth's kindergarten class. It was very exciting. It was extremely popular, so all the six kindergarten classes now want to do the Book Buddy program instead of just one. And we're going to have to see how that's going to work out, because we don't, to be honest, don't have enough seniors. So we're going to see if we can entice some more to do it for next year. And it only totals, I think, 7.5 hours, because we only go for 6 months, and it's an hour and a half at a time, an hour and 15 minutes at a time. So, but it is very rewarding, and the last day, a child's mother wrote to Michelle Barth and said he was so happy because he was going to see his buddy in kindergarten today, and they were going to read stories together. And then he started to cry a little bit because it was going to be his last time seeing her.
Oh,
Because in kindergarten, you move on, you know, to the next grade. So that was really quite warming. The other part of the intergenerational program is with the Girl Scouts under Christine Borowski's troop. They are helping redo the courtyard gardening-wise. And they are working on this to get their bronze badge.
but this is the Littleton Country Gardeners that are doing
Yes.
that with them, yeah.
Yes. And Sharon has taken them under her wing, and Sharon said they have done an outstanding job.
They have.
And Sharon has had volunteers come, nursery-type people who have contributed some flowers or labor or
Or advice or whatever.
advice, yes. And so that was very good. The kayaking program for seniors is continuing. This will be its 7th year. I have stepped down as the organizer because I want to just sit and paddle and not have to do it all. And I had a volunteer, Jim Kay, who actually was so excited that he could take it over. So I'm so excited that he's doing it. I'm so excited. What I wanted to talk to you about that only happened as I left my house, and it's regarding the O'Neill Theater. They contacted me, a guy by the name of, it's gone, sorry.
A gentleman.
It'll come to me. He called me here, and I happened to be here. They wanted to set up somehow showing movies to people in town, seniors in town who had dementia.
Oh,
And
Whoa.
it's a nationwide project, and they're getting involved. And we have spoken once or twice before, and then today we spoke more.
wow.
They are already starting to do it for children.
Right, I saw that.
A great program for those affected by autism. See a movie on a big screen. The movies have been selected for the appropriate
age.
and the sounds will be lower, the lights will be brighter. And I have a schedule of all of this for you, if you will take one and pass it on.
And
I did one to Liz and
how
Tina.
much are these?
Just a minute.
Oh, sorry.
So when I asked him if it was free, he said he needed to go ask. So he came back and said $9. And I told him I thought that was expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they haven't started it yet, and it's all in the working progress and
Saturdays.
work. They will discuss the pricing. They will discuss popcorn and soda and things like that. It's only Saturday mornings, a particular Saturday on the schedule. And they are hoping it's going to be successful. Now, in the O'Neill Theater is looking to go 12 miles out in a radius to contact senior centers. And he knows that we have a group that's called Social Club, Littleton Social Club, and that he's going to contact them.
Well, we have the Memory Cafe. We have one Memory Cafe in Littleton, too. That would be on, they meet on Saturdays.
All right.
At 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And before I came here, I was across the way to the school department. They didn't know about this. And so they're going to let their teachers know. Maybe we could arrange it as a class trip, even if it's on a Saturday. So this is very exciting.
It is.
Case Collaborative might be very interested in this. So it was very, very good news, but it's work in progress. I'm sending him an email when I go home and to list the questions that I have. And I'll copy you guys so that you know, and he'll have your email address.
Can you copy Ann Lee?
That's-
Would you like to be on that email, Ann Lee, because of the
Yes.
Memory Cafe?
Yes, please.
My question is, we don't know who they are or if they can afford it when the price is settled. Will Tina be aware
Oh,
of
yes, yes.
some of this?
I just said.
It probably
The
will be in the
names and-
newspaper
I'm going
or
to be,
something.
I'm going to be copying them.
And who would pay for it if,
That's in the works. We don't know. We don't know.
friends, maybe?
Maybe, but Tina will know more.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not a senior, it's not part of the senior.
Well-
It would be,
We're still human services.
yes.
Well, youth, you know, and that's they're a big part of it, too. You know, it says
The
even
school
autistic
department has
children and
funding for
other
something like
sensory
this.
disabilities.
Like when they go on school trips, if the child can't afford it, I'm sure there's a way they can go. I just don't know the answers to so many questions.
Well, that's okay. It is an art in progress, you said.
Yes.
And so I think that's a great thing. And people the information's been distributed. So, and you'll be in touch with Liz,
Yes.
right?
And Tina.
And Tina, probably, yeah. And, Liz can communicate with Tina.
Yeah.
So, yep. So why don't we just,
I just want to say something. It's kind of not involved, but anyway, in checking the Globe today, usually Littleton is listed for the movies, and it was not.
Well, shame on the Globe.
Well, I'm just wondering if that is an indication of something else happening. Because it's been in every single day, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens tomorrow.
What's the
Check
name of
tomorrow.
that?
Again
Check
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I get it every day.
O'Neill. See, I don't
Okay,
think so.
well, thank you, Nancy, that's really
That is
exciting.
wonderful.
I
It
did
is.
remember the gentleman's name at the cinema. His name is Mark Rouse, R-A-U-S.
Nancy, do you know if they're going to be putting together a different movie schedule, or are they using the same movies?
It's what I handed out.
This is for the kids with autism, though. Is
And-
this
No, no, it's the same, it's the same.
So like Wreck-It Ralph will be shown for seniors?
seniors?
I don't know about that.
Sure.
I don't know about that either. I didn't look, well, the Nutcracker in the 4
Mission
rounds.
Impossible.
This is for kids?
Yes. I questioned that with him.
Seriously?
How old is a kid?
Ocean's 8 is.
Ocean's
kid.
Eight.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, Ocean's 8? That's not.
I thought Star Wars would
Mamma
be too
Mia.
exciting, but I guess not.
Let's not make the decision
Well, that's,
for
no,
that.
that's their
Yeah.
Ocean's
decision.
8 is about
You know,
Yeah,
people
that's the
can look at
parents'
this and make a
to-
decision, and it is a parent's and whatever, caregiver's decision.
I don't
So,
think kids ought to see Jurassic World either, but that's neither here nor there.
so,
Thank
I
you.
all
don't
right,
want to see it.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's very exciting. And the Senior Follies, we'll have to, Anthony came in while he missed that announcement that they're showing the Senior Follies again.
We expect you to be there.
He did.
I can't wait to see it again. Nancy was great in it. Everybody was great in it.
And Nicole made her debut in it.
Yeah, I know, that's right. Yes, everybody, it was really
Nancy,
wonderful.
expect
It
a
was,
red carpet though next
Yeah.
time. Walk the red carpet.
Me.
No, everybody. Like a big premiere.
Oh, I
night.
thought you meant for you.
Oh, well. I'm not that important.
What are you doing here today?
I work here.
But you're at the Steakhouse.
No, I stay behind.
some people had to stay behind.
Yeah.
Take care of us a little.
Do we know what happened? Have you heard, do you know what happened at the State House at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, I just got a picture of her. But
We can't share?
Oh,
Anything,
no.
do we know anything? Because I just,
don't
I
know, I
told
don't
them
know.
about it, but you don't, okay. All right. Thank you, Nancy. As you, it's a volunteer lunch this week. No, okay. I get mixed up with things. If I don't look in my appointment book, I do get mixed up. All right. Any other questions for Nancy or for the friends that she can relay? Well, thank you again. And thank you to all the friends. You do a great job. so. All right, under old business, I don't know where building came.
Town building.
Yeah, probably because I was looking at A. The Town Building and Space Needs Analysis Working Group update. We had a meeting, May 2nd was our last meeting, and it was a discussion basically about the long and short-term goals that we've been charged with, coming up with a plan centered around that. And so it was a lengthy discussion, a lot of ideas came forth. Some people have a vision of a campus type of development that would involve a new library, a new senior center, and a building of town offices. And so that, a lot of brainstorming has been going on. Obviously, the head of our town treasurer, Steve Venuti, was there, and he's always there with information about money. And where, and just something like that, a town camp or a campus of buildings. The vision was here on Chaddock Street, down behind this building. And then ultimately, because this building is going to be so costly to renovate, this building would be removed. So,
Well, that's one scenario.
that is one scenario that was talked about at that meeting.
Yeah.
And but that's where the group is. There's another meeting a week from this Wednesday, I believe it is. Yes, the 23rd. So, just to catch you up to date, they're working on things. And I know that Anthony had a meeting with the staff who are part of this group. They're not voting members, but they're there as advisors and to help us along, those of us that are voting members. So I know there was a meeting.
Oh, it's tomorrow, that meeting.
Oh, okay, there is a
It'll move
meeting.
to tomorrow.
Okay, he's meeting with them to try to kind of, so, it's a process. That's a huge
Kettle of
charge.
worms, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
Very complex. It's a very complex issue.
The only one constant that I hope everybody remembers is that for the library received a grant.
Right, everybody knows that.
That's what I was going.
5.8?
5.8.
5.8 million.
So if the library doesn't go there, that grant is gone.
Right. Everybody knows that.
Doesn't
So
go
how long do
where?
they have the grant? How long do they have the grant before it's gone?
They were on the list.
The way that goes is the state has approved 34 or 35 libraries for the grant, right? The first few grants have been given out already. I think that initially there were like 4, 5, 6, 7 towns that have received the money or declined it. We are supposed to be in the next wave.
Oh, I see.
Okay, when the money becomes available and the state decides to issue it, then the town gets a letter saying, okay, here comes your money. And then from that point, you have 6 months
6 months, that's what it was.
for the town to approve it or not.
Well, that was going to be
It's a $13 million project. And the state has given 5.8. So the town is going to be responsible for approximately 7 million.
Yeah.
6 to 7 million. And so when you're talking about, that's already in the works, and it's tough to walk away from that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. So, and that's where I think people what their thinking was, and their perception and their vision involves, okay. And it has to be a process. But it is to be a long-range planning group, so that's where we're at. It's in the baby stages, but I just always want to keep you informed as to what's going on. So we don't need to get into a discussion here, other than sharing information, which is good information, so people understand the library situation.
Well, that was my question. We talk about space, we talk about library. What is their input on this? What have they decided?
Well, they're on the committee, too.
They're on the
They're on
committee.
this committee, and everybody's
Okay.
working together, trying to work together as a team to meet everybody's needs, and to put a plan together, short and long range,
Right.
that would meet the needs. So there's a lot going on, but that's just a brief update. We'll keep you informed, and Liz attends the meetings, and I do, so. All right? Well, you'll see it under old business practically on every agenda, because I just want to keep you informed.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions about that? Okay. Let's move on then to monitoring affordable units. If you recall, if I'm not mistaken, that question came up at our last meeting when we had Ed Mullen here.
Who's going to stay on top of them?
Yes. And so Liz has a response for you.
So Marin from the planning board put this together for us. So any development with an affordable housing component requires annual monitoring, which Ed said to us. Littleton currently uses CPC housing funds, and they use that to hire the Metro West Collaborative Development to monitor all of the affordable units in town. After they do the monitoring, they provide a detailed report to the town and to DHDC/Mass Housing, and the Board of Selectmen oversees that contract. So there is ongoing monitoring of this. You couldn't just sell your affordable housing unit and have the price hiked up.
Okay.
You can
So
or
the
you
town,
can't.
You can't sell
Can't
it
hear
and hike
her
the price.
very well. Can you?
does that mean that the town is paying somebody to monitor this on an ongoing basis?
I believe that's what it means, yeah.
Yeah.
Double check.
Question was, I'm sorry, I'm looking at an email. You got me.
So for the
C-
affordable housing units,
Yeah.
we use CPC funds to hire somebody to do the
Right.
monitoring, to
Right.
make sure it remains affordable. So we pay someone to do that,
Right,
yeah.
yes.
And then they put together
On
the
an
report
ongoing
for us.
basis,
Yes.
constantly?
So that unit will always be low income,
Always remain an affordable unit.
affordable?
The issue was you wanted it always to remain as an affordable unit. And there was
But will
concern.
the affordable keep going up with the way that all, housing?
Well, the
is?
affordable level, like an affordable unit now,
There's a formula for it.
Right,
right, and it's a state-managed thing, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, there's a form.
So there's control there. The state manages what's considered affordable, correct? They
That's, but
establish
it
it.
does say for some of the affordable units in town. And then it says, and then in parentheses, some units and developments have a separate monitoring agent. I don't know what that means.
I think every unit gets monitored and they have to provide a report to the state.
I'm sure, when you have state money involved, there's responsibilities and, and controls. So I'm sure that was probably the case. We wanted to just clarify that because it did come up at our last meeting. So that's why
Maren.
Maren
put that
came
together for
forward
us.
and put that together for us, so. We have a great planning board.
Hmm.
We really do, they're very helpful. so. Any other questions, David? Are you okay with that?
With that part of it, yeah.
Okay.
If this is old business and we're talking about it, okay, well, we were discussing earlier, or last month, how expensive some of those were. Okay, and the fact that elderly people might not want to pay that kind of money and/or not want to move into something that was actually maybe even bigger than their house. They might be looking to downsize. And that brought me to ask Ed about about senior apartments. Okay? And I made the mention of my mother. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn that down.
Your mother calling?
No, wait a minute. No. If she was calling me, that would be pretty,
Pretty interesting, huh?
yeah. Hey, Mom, where are you calling from? She lived in an affordable, in a senior apartment complex in Harvard, if
Right.
you remember. And I said
Yep.
it was one of the best managed places that I ever saw. And I also mentioned that this one company had 39 different complexes throughout all the New England states. And there was a waiting list to get into each one of them. That's how good they are. And I really wanted to pursue that. I haven't heard of any affordable senior apartments being contemplated for Littleton. Okay,
Well,
it's all senior housing.
well, no, the contractor that has the Foster Street land, it's a lot of acreage out there, I can't remember exactly how much, but the plan that he put forward had apartments.
It had mentioned that they could do apartments, I believe. Wasn't
Oh.
necessarily in the plan to do
Okay,
it.
so you're just,
Remember? No?
Yeah, yes, I think Marge is correct. He was talking about, nothing's been approved on that.
Right,
normal
it has not been
40
approved.
acres, yeah.
no, they haven't, I don't believe, they had charged, I've been trying to go to those planning board meetings when they are discussing those things, and I've urged you all to pay attention to their agendas so that you could get there, but I do not believe they have come back yet and they've moved on at all.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened, they've been busy with other issues right now, the planning board has.
So
So, but
anyway-
it's on their radar.
Yeah.
I know that it's on the
So
planning
I-
board
I-
Any
radar.
possibility of getting this group to
So
to
I
make an
had,
application?
I had mentioned to Ed last month when he was here,
Right,
the name of the place. And he said, well, they're invited, so I was going to send them a letter. I have not yet. We have had in the family a month-long illness that resulted in somebody passing.
Oh,
So
sorry.
it's my whole month of April was quite taken up with all of that. But I intend to contact this one
Great.
place and see if, you can't just say, hey, come and build a place in Littleton, but, just to see what they say, how interested they are, or even if somebody else was coming here that had the same kind of a business model as they did, would be nice. I'd like to see some of that. Because that place over there is really good.
Well, and you know, that's good, because anything like that we can help and steer, and you find out about it, who knows where it's gonna go, so, thank you for sharing that.
Let
No,
me see what I
I'm
can come
glad,
up
and I'm
with.
sorry you had family problems, so.
Happens to everybody.
Right, so, keep us informed. I'm interested in knowing now, know more about it, so, thank you. Okay, are we okay now? Can we move on to new business? Everybody good? All right. For the benefit of the new board members, in May, our rules and regulations state that we shall appoint a nominating committee who will present a slate of officers at our annual meeting, and our annual meeting is always the June meeting. Therefore, we must appoint, or establish a nominating committee today to determine, the chair, vice chair, and the secretary's positions for next year.
3, 4.
3. It's the chair, vice chair, and the secretary. So, Maureen Donnelly did come to me and express her desire to serve on the nominating committee, in spite of the fact that she cannot be here today.
Who?
Maureen. So I'm sharing that with you, that she has stepped up to the plate. We need 3 members of the nominating committee. And your job is to talk to the board members to feel out and come up with a slate of officers, the chair, who would like to do whatever, and present it to the board for their vote next month. And then,
Are
Yes.
there,
Go ahead.
sorry, are there term limits?
you're only in office for a year, obviously.
Oh, okay. so-
Every year we do this, and
Okay.
like last year, I had to be voted in as the chair.
Okay.
So, and we're just back at that point again. So our job today is to appoint the nominating committee.
But
And-
the question is, our officers, do they have terms of more than 1 year?
We have no restrictions on that in our
That's what I asked. yeah.
bylaws and rules, no. Not that I'm recalling or remembering.
There's no term limit that I saw.
No, not for that, no. And no term limits for being a board member as well, even though Emmett does recommend not serving year after, not serving forever.
Right.
But anyway, so I am open to suggestions or for people who would volunteer. Patty Hunt has been on the nominating committee for the last 2 years. She also expressed to me, because she was not going to be here today, the fact that she really would not like to do it again this year, because she's done it for the last 2 years. But if
I
you-
was with her last year.
Yeah, and there has to be 3 of you, so.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
with her last year.
But she has some experience in it, and
Yeah. I was looking-
Maureen, I think Maureen came on board last year. So I don't think she has any experience. So I'm looking for volunteers to step up. It's not time, it's more phone work than anything else, I think, calling somebody and just saying, what are your thoughts about this, and et cetera.
You mean calling each person and saying, would you be interested?
Emily, are you volunteering?
Yeah.
Ann Lee, okay, we have Maureen Donnelly, Ann Lee Ellis. Yes, it is that. And, do you want, are you interested in serving as the chair? I mean, you can have a slate of officers and only one slate. You can have people that want, 2 people that might want to be chair, and then the board decides who's going to be chair. So, it's not a lot of,
Do we have a third person?
no, not yet. I'm plugging away at it. Trying to get a volunteer. I'll appoint you. If we don't have a volunteer, I will have to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Isn't it funny? Last year, we only had 2 people on that committee.
Okay.
Well, then we
Hunt and
went.
myself. Here's the letter.
Really?
You gonna volunteer again?
No.
It's really more complicated than, making it more complicated than it should be.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it says 3 members.
I mean, don't you just go to the
I
people
must
who
have
are already
See?
serving in those
You're right.
positions?
Would you like to do it again?
Would you like to do it
It
again?
is 3
Yeah.
members. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know,
who the
maybe,
third person
maybe
was.
I let it happen
didn't
last
have
year,
any.
and I didn't realize it, but it does say,
We didn't
remembers,
have any.
so.
It's just two of us.
Can I ask a question? I mean, please volunteer, but isn't it a matter of just the committee going to the person who's holding that position now and saying, are you interested in continuing on?
That's generally how people approach it, and
Right,
then
and
go
then
on.
if-
Three persons that are in office are willing to go on, that's
That's
all you
it.
need. If if any one of them is not, then you would need to find someone, talk to
fill
other people
that.
on the board to find
This,
someone to
so
fill
this
that.
can't be done like right here?
Not according to our rules and regulations, no. We have to abide by our rules and
Committee will-
regulations.
will
Once
cover
we're-
that,
Two
and
other
it's
people
presented
aren't
in
here
June for
too,
vote.
Maureen and,
Maureen already has volunteered.
no, I
Right.
know that,
But to be like the secretary or the,
Oh.
yeah.
Whatever, that,
Oh,
that's
no, you
up to the
can't do
board.
that.
That's up to the committee.
Right, no. Can't be done here.
Does a third person want to? Okay, I would move that the Maureen and Ann Lee serve as the nominating committee for the,
No, I'll do it too.
David,
and David
Good.
Sills.
our
you,
rules.
David.
and-
And
Bob,
then I got a motion
Bob.
for a rule change.
yeah, I know. Bob, just so you know, our rules and regulations say we must have three.
I know, it doesn't say you must have, it says you should have. If you can't get them, you can't do anything about it.
Okay, I'm not
was
gonna argue with
only
you.
two.
Anyway, I'm gonna
Yeah.
just double check again.
And we got away with it.
Last year, yeah, I guess.
We welcome
Shall,
I
David.
would move that,
shall consist.
I would move that Maureen Donnelly, Ann Lee Ellis, and David Sill serve as the nominating committee.
May I have a second?
second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much, the three of you. And I will talk to each one of you, or somebody, I don't know who wants to be the one that starts the initial and kind
Wanna
of
keep
coordinates
my-
it. Somebody
get
needs
my
to be the
copy?
coordinator, that's all.
Gotcha.
So, and if you, and either one of you volunteer for that, I would.
Oh, this is all secret, we can't talk to anybody.
I know.
I'll be the coordinator.
All right, Ann Lee's
Okay.
gonna do it. Ann Lee will be the contact person, the chair, so to speak.
Okay.
So we have Ann Lee. Thank you. Maureen and David. All right. Cross that off from your list. The next item on our agenda is under new business, and it is about the Space Subcommittee. Now, actually, when we were talking about the space needs and the town committee, you know, the town space committee, Liz attends those meetings, and I attend those meetings. And I really feel very strongly that we as a board need to come up with our vision for a senior center. Because people are starting to inquire. And you know, I know already, I heard one of the selectmen one time made a statement about the space, the square footage of a senior center. And I thought to myself, that's not accurate, can't be. Because you're supposed to project out, you know, like 30 years. And if you read your needs assessment, you'll get to it. It has a projection in there about the population of the senior citizens in Littleton in 30 years from now.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out what our vision for a senior center is, square footage wise, and there's a formula which Liz can address and she knows more about. But I just want to encourage each one of you to start. We need to have a conversation about this and then maybe decide how we want to approach starting to put something together. We do have a space subcommittee.
Who is that?
You. And Patty, right now.
Patty, myself, Patty, and
I think that's it. Where's our minutes? It's in the minutes.
No, I think there's more.
We didn't.
I don't think I was on space. I think I
Patty,
was on
Bob, oh, Jean Johnson.
Well, I've heard negative. We've got schools, we've got library, we got, what is the other, people keep saying, we can't afford a senior center. That's all I hear.
But Mary, that's the reason we have the space, the town-wide space subcommittee, It's our chance, and there are a lot of people on that committee that feel that a senior center is needed. And that's the job of this working group. But you know what, if they look to Liz and I at a meeting and say, okay, well, what are we talking about for a senior center? We need to know what we're gonna put out there. So, yeah, go
When the
ahead.
time comes, we should be prepared to say,
All right,
this is
the
what
board
we
is
need.
requesting the subcommittee to do what?
What board?
What?
What
Us,
board?
The COA board, you.
The COA board.
I, the chair, I'm requesting that you all start thinking in terms of what your vision of a senior center is. You know, whether it's a big building, a two-story building, a small building, and maybe Liz could help us, I know she can help us, with the square footage. It's supposed to be, I think, 4 to
6 square feet per elder in town, per senior over 60.
In 30 years, how many will it be?
region needs assessment. You know, and then we'll help you figure it out.
Let's have it in here
And
someplace.
taxes go up, that's all I hear
We're not
about
to-
is
we don't-
taxes.
we know that.
Taxes.
No,
Mary, we know that, and people are aware of that on these committees, and they don't want
Especially
taxes
the
to go up.
seniors.
We can ask Stephen Nudie, the treasurer, to come to one of our
Right.
meetings and spell out for us what exactly that means in terms of taxes. If we do move forward with a plan, what would that look like for us?
Or
Residents.
even to come, he's very informative at these meetings.
Who's that?
Stephen Nudie. He's the town
Treasurer.
treasurer. And he's very good at managing things and working around things. But, you know, the issue came up the other night at the meeting. You don't want to have a Proposition 2.5 override. That increases taxes permanently.
What does the board want the subcommittee to do?
So, what I want is,
Board, the chair.
Well, but she's gonna have the board tell us.
you are the board. What are you talking about? What board?
This board,
Okay, I'm confused.
we're on the agenda for the Safe Base Subcommittee. Base Subcommittee consists of Gene Johnson, Bob Stetson, and Patty Hunt. Now, what does the board want?
The subcommittee.
Why
to-
is
telling you.
Develop a vision.
What do you want us to tell that board to do?
I want your board members here, our peers, to start, maybe send you some emails. Say, this is what I think. I think a senior center should have a fitness room. It should have this, it should have that. Liz can help figuring out the projections as to the square footage that we need. We need a building of so many square feet, minimum. You know, but I want you, board members, to start thinking about this and have a vision.
Right, the problem, there's no problem in thinking about it, but in speaking about it, it will probably need to be open meeting rather than by emails back and forth.
But
Is it-
that group
That's-
will be the one that presents it in an open meeting.
Right, so
See.
the board itself can't talk about it, but your subcommittee can do the planning.
Well, they need input from all of you.
Right, in other words, they want emails from us to go to the committee.
I
They
understand
present
that, I
it in
understand
open meeting.
We have a subcommittee already in place
Well,
for space.
Yeah.
That subcommittee was established right after that needs assessment came out.
yeah.
And
I
they're
just-
always open meetings, so anybody can go.
And yes, every meeting of that subcommittee is posted as an open meeting.
Understand,
It is requested that the subcommittee project the needs for a senior center in some detail.
David wants to finish a statement. Go ahead, David.
Well, we got read the Riot Act over at the library about open meeting and minutes and all of that stuff.
We do it.
And you need to be very careful as a board about speaking back and forth, because sometimes I want to do this, well, I don't really want to do that, and then all of a sudden you're having a meeting, okay?
Well, that's
And
true.
You need to be very careful
You're
about
right.
what you do.
You're absolutely right. And that's why I'm asking you at a formal, open meeting,
Yeah.
as a board member, to start thinking in terms of what you think would be desirable. And email Patty Hunt. She's kind of the lead person. Send her an email. She's on your, page in here, her email address.
Yeah.
And just say, this is kind of what, I've given some thought to this, and this is where I'm at. You don't have to come up with a whole finalized thing, but just ideas and thoughts, so that they can start to put together things, and they can get out and start doing some work. All right? we need to get that subcommittee activated again.
Have you read the town report for last year? I looked it from cover to cover recently, and there's something about 37% increase in taxes, but a lot of that was taken away. The town does get money, and they put it in the trust fund. Maybe we can use some of the trust fund.
Well, and Steve is very good about explaining things, and, I mean,
Really?
if you read the handout for the town meeting, the Finance Committee made a statement in there saying that the town could not undertake any major expenditures for the next 6 to 8 years without it being a Proposition 2.5 override. And that nobody wants. I'm telling you right now, I mean, people do not want that. So, would you
Okay,
please,
but
my request
The point of
is,
this is not to discuss the
No.
whole issue. The point of this is to tell the subcommittee what you want from us. We will then prepare something and present it to the board for open discussion.
right,
After it's presented to the board for open discussion, and if a decision is made as to what may be done, then we'll provide it for the commission.
it will, that's right. So,
So what I've said is, the subcommittee, it is requested that the subcommittee project the needs of for senior center in some detail and senior needs, and present to the board, COA board, a proposed scenario for discussion.
that sounds good.
Sounds
That's
good.
very good. Thank you, Bob. Good summary. And I'm asking you, and I will share this with Jean Johnson and Maureen. Patty is aware as the chair. She wanted to be here to talk about it herself, but couldn't be in both places at once. So please do that. It's important, and because we do want to be prepared when we're asked. And we will be asked at some point, so. All right, Mary, do you have an update for us? You had Awareness Subcommittee had a meeting last Friday?
Well, basically, what we're doing, we're trying to, our biggest thing is we're trying to set up some kind of a directory for the people. I personally want them to, everybody in town, but they're honing it towards the seniors, with all the phone numbers of all the different kind of things available in the town, including things like the police, the dog catcher, who is not in this town. She's a Boxborough resident.
Right.
The stores, because I actually went on the website the other day to call Donnellan's, and their number was wrong in the website. So we've got the correct number. To have these so people can kind of look at it, because sometimes they don't even know. Alcoholics Anonymous, the hospitals, what other care groups are out there. So
You're
that's
still
basically
working on
what
that?
we're looking at.
Okay.
And so everybody brought in a lot of stuff, but we still have more to do. And then Liz says she has someone who could format it for us.
And what are your plans for the third Thursday, since they're starting in another week?
I knew nothing about it until we saw it on the door the other day, so I have no availability for that.
Well, I'm not asking if you have availability. I'm saying the Awareness Subcommittee always does the tables at the third Thursdays. And so,
True.
I don't know whether that, you need to get that on your radar screen, because maybe May, not May, it's kind of, I didn't know a lot about it either. I just heard about it being recently.
It is
and
May.
They are starting in May, and the third Thursday's coming quickly. So, but maybe June, July, and August, we need to have a table down there, and so the
Well, I've
Awareness
always
Subcommittee.
manned it. For the last 2 or 3 years, I've always manned it.
Okay.
So that I can do that, but I love having company.
Well, it's not that, it's the question of what are you going to present and what's your table going to consist of.
And
that
are we
kind
going to
of thing.
sign up for it? We need
And
to sign
yes,
up.
yes. So
Liz,
you need to the committee needs to start thinking about that, planning for it.
excuse me, you did a wonderful presentation at our awareness meeting. Will the booklets that you mentioned be available for this
No.
Thursday? It's too early, huh?
Not in May,
No.
maybe June.
June, okay.
But June and July, I think this May third Thursday kind of snuck up on a lot of us.
Yeah.
Well, this is the
I
first year
just
that
heard
they've
about
done
it.
it.
In May?
Right,
That's what
yeah.
I thought, because
Then June,
It was
July,
always
and
just the
August.
3 summer months.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I was shocked when I found out about it. I heard about it at Loaves and Fishes last week. That's how I learned about
I
it.
saw it on the door coming in.
Yeah, so it was a surprise to me, and that's why I just wanted to mention it, so the awareness subcommittee can have it on their radar to start planning.
What door did you come in?
When I was coming in down by,
The town office
The
door?
parking,
down by the rec,
park and
park
rec.
and
Oh,
rec.
see, I didn't come in that one, all right.
But anyway, that, nonetheless, so it'll be, I think a lot of people are caught off guard. But just, that's why I just wanted to bring it up.
No, that's fine, and I don't
We
know
take it back
if
to the board
they
members.
had, you know, last year, I know the person was very involved with the director, and, you know, he'd come up and chat, and I was there and stuff, and I don't know if it's the same guy anymore.
What guy are you talking about?
Oh, it's the same, it was the same, I got an email just
Park
for
and
the
Rec.
church.
Oh.
And it was the same name,
Tim or something?
Tim, yeah, it was the same
Tim
man, as-
Witkowski?
yeah, from last year.
He's
So-
on, he's been at our space meetings. Yeah, okay. He's
Do we have to
coordinating
fill out an application and,
it. That
I'll touch
Liz,
base with them.
Liz will take care of
and
that.
pay the, okay, because I'm going in right after this meeting to pay for the Baptist church,
Oh.
so.
But Liz has to do it
Okay.
as the director, I think you do.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. I just wanted to, you know, get it out. So, because I was shocked last week. I said, there's no third Thursday in May. Oh, yes, there is. So,
Well, I mean, that should have been brought to everybody's
Yeah.
attention months ago, really.
well, it's okay. It's happening, and, you know, it is what it is. We, well, just get out there in June,
and
July,
We have to
August.
talk.
So,
So I can help you
okay.
To do what?
for that meeting in May.
The meeting.
To man the table.
We're not gonna do it in May.
No.
We're
gonna
not?
do it June, July.
Oh, I'm
No
glad to hear
time,
that. Good.
no time to get ready for May. That's totally understandable.
Okay.
June,
good.
July, and August. Just
Okay.
start thinking about it ahead. Okay, can we move on to the budget report, to the reports?
Certainly.
So, you have on your sheet.
In the pinks. We're in the pinks.
Pink, I know. So nice and pretty.
Okay, the first one on is the office budget, and there's nothing spectacular in here. We're still waiting to make an adjustment to the recreation services to include the money that's been given so that it will reduce that deficit, which is now a minus 1841. But other than that, it's all within budget and pretty standard. Anybody has any questions?
Where are you reading all this?
What is,
The first page.
1941.
486.
Right now, our balance is minus 1841 because
Recreation.
they haven't been taking the money out that people have been paying into the different recreation programs, and it's just a matter of accounting making a difference. I always keep, this is always according to the town accounting system, so until the accounting makes a difference, we have to live with that. But the whole budget is right on, it's right within where it should be.
Great, that's good.
Minuteman assessment, they go by
That's once
per
a year.
head,
And it was paid in August, $2,500.
that's per person, is that it?
I don't know what the formula
Because I remember when it was 2,000.
used to be.
Yeah.
1,700. I
Yeah.
can go back to when it used to probably be 500, but that's neither here nor
Right,
there.
it's 25 now.
25 is what we're agreeing to this year.
Okay.
Okay, the Mott budget, as you can see, ridership on the second line, monthly riders, is up around 430, and depending on the month, it varies. And partially because we have one band that is out of service, and the expenses are running pretty even, so at this point, we're in good shape there too.
Do we know what's wrong with the van that's out of service?
He was in an accident. It's being fixed.
We expect it back within 2 weeks, they said.
Any
We do.
questions on that?
No, but Ann Lee might be, because you're interested in the transportation
Yeah.
and the drivers and everything. How many drivers do we have now?
5.
It's tough.
However, having three vans doesn't make a bit of difference because you have to have the drivers have to be specially trained, and we have to have money to pay them. And it's a town thing, so we're not even sure whether there's a church and state issue involved in terms of taking them to, picking them up specifically to go to church and stuff like that. But there's all stuff that can be worked out by
Right.
by the Transportation Commission and so forth. We're raising the issue with them, and we'll have to go from there.
But it's just good to understand what's in place now, so that you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Bob?
No?
All right. Thank you. Tina, please come forward. Or Nicole. Whoever has the job today.
We both share it,
Oh,
yeah.
well, you can, too bad. You
want me to
You know what, well, take a
move
seat
down?
either side, and then there's a microphone here. When Nicole's talking, there's a microphone, and you've got one down there you can pull up, Tina. Just pull that microphone up. So people can hear you.
And talk slow.
All right, okay, yeah, Nicole has a little bit of the report of what's coming up, and I have, like the basic numbers, if anyone has any questions, they're all here broken into the categories of under 60, duplicated and unduplicated, as well as 60 and over, duplicated and unduplicated. I know at the end of the month, we're having another caregiver support group, and we're having Neshoba Park, Assisted and Independent Living from AIR coming and being our speaker for the month at 6:30 to 8 p.m. We hope to have a couple of new members come for all aspects of caregiving, and that will be Wednesday night, the last Wednesday in May. The Catholic Heart Work Camp, we have probably in the area of 20 households that will be helped that last week of June, the Monday through Thursday camp, and Nicole and I have been working on that with a couple of volunteers who have really helped a lot getting the work orders prepared. And we also want to thank the Council of Churches for the lovely day of caring they did last weekend. And they serviced, I think, 16 households with that. Let's see. And I think the rest Nicole has in
Okay, Nicole,
in
wait
her
a minute.
report.
Okay.
Now, what did you say first? Slowly. I got the Catholic camp coming in the last week in June. What did you say before that?
Probably that the caregivers support group would be the last Wednesday evening in May.
The what?
Caregiver support group. And we have that in the diner.
Last Thursday?
Wednesday.
Okay, we have the Catholic camp coming the last week in June, and the Council of Churches workday was a success. Anything else?
Well,
Now you can go on.
oh, okay. Well, we could talk about, we have the Living Alone and Living Well group this Thursday for anyone who would like to come. We have Rita Biagioni from town coming, a wellness coach. She's going to talk about that. And then we'll meet again in June.
What does that do?
Living Alone and Living Well, it's a chance for people to share ideas and sometimes get together. In fact, we decided this year that July and August, they will get together on their own. And that's like really part of the purpose. And we've suggested they go to Third Thursday, suggested there's one person with a large yard that's invited them to have cookouts together over the summer. So
Nice.
it's nice when they can get together informally.
And there are occasional speakers?
Occasional speakers, but not always. We're going to, Liz, Nicole, and I are going to talk over the summer and see how we want to format it when it starts again in the fall. But they really, we had Rita a year ago and they enjoyed it a lot. So we invited Rita back and she's, graciously agreed to come and talk with the group.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. So we have a couple things going on in May, still coming up. Silk scarf painting. I can give you this list after if you want. On the 16th at 11 o'clock.
That's this week, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I don't know the date. Yeah.
Wednesday, yep.
At what time?
11 o'clock.
Oh.
It's fun. We try it.
On the 23rd, we're doing lattes with Liz and Tina and I. So it's a
sounds
chance for people to come in, chat with Liz and Tina and myself. And depending on how many people we get, we might continue doing it on a monthly basis to see how it goes. And we have,
That's nice.
And where will it be?
I think it's in room 230.
2:30.
Yeah. And that's at 9 o'clock, from 9 to 10. And we have Heather Hurd from Blue Cross Blue Shield coming back. She's doing a prepping for Medicare presentation on the 23rd at 4 o'clock. And then in June, we have Social Anxiety Group, June 5th and the 19th. And there's a presentation in Marlborough at the Best Western Plaza Hotel. It's on June 6th from 8:30 to 3 o'clock. It's for grandparents raising grandchildren. We have flyers posted, and there's information on our Facebook page as well. There is going to be an oral health presentation with Dr. Padma of North Acton Dental on the 15th at 10 o'clock. Living Alone and Living Well, June 21st. And tips for downsizing on the 22nd.
Oh, that's an interesting topic, yeah.
When was the date of the grandchildren, the grandparents?
What do they think of this slow?
June 6th.
We're trying to jam-pack a schedule.
I
Give
guess
people
you
lots
are.
lots
Yeah.
of options. There's also the police and fire cookout coming up.
Oh,
in
that's
June.
right.
I believe it's
Oh.
the 15th at noon.
That's a good thing to go
Yeah.
to. It's-
And just give
to
the
support them.
give the front desk a call to let us know you're coming so we can
June 15th?
keep a RSVP list.
That's all I have.
Oh, we should have, too bad we didn't mention it as an announcement for seniors. But you'll have it out anyway.
Oh yeah. It'll be in the newsletter. We'll put it on the Facebook page.
June 15th, that's a Friday. Yeah?
Maybe it's probably the 14th then.
And where and when is it?
At the new fire station at noon.
They always do such a nice job at that, so seniors need to, yeah. They always usually have a good turnout, too. You can get away for lunch, they would swing by. Especially since it's going to be at the new fire station. So, it might be, I think, I can't remember whether it's been a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday before, yeah. But anyway. It'll be in the broadcaster, right?
Yes.
In June,
Yeah.
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 so. Just get it down here. So I don't miss it.
Social awareness group is June 5th and the 19th.
The social anxiety group, yeah.
June 14th is definitely the date.
It is?
Yeah.
Thank you. So mark your calendars. 12 noon.
Police and fire cookout at the new fire station.
Nice.
And people have to sign up for that, correct?
Yes, please. Just so we can get a head count of the food.
That works for me.
don't we? Can we go on?
You can
I
keep
think
that.
Want me to-
I think we're, are you done? Okay.
We're done, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to leave, stay.
Oh.
Stay there. No. We have Liz's report, and then we're done, so. And your Liz's report is the next page in your packet. You want to take a look? I like this, having it all put together like, this is
Yeah.
good, very nice,
We had
yes.
a lot of pink paper, so I figured why not use it?
Yeah, it's nice.
In this strange size.
Yes.
So we definitely have a lot going on. Just want to give an update about the tables and chairs that we ordered for room 230 downstairs to replace the card tables. We were able to order more than we anticipated, which is good. So we were able to order 6 new tables with 24 chairs, 12 with arms, 12 without arms. So depending
Nice.
on what you need, we'll have that available.
How much is the formula grant?
It was around 16,000.
16?
Are these square tables?
They're square, yep. And they
Just like the other ones,
Yep.
except that they're more.
They're sturdier. They're about an inch bigger. The top flips, and they're on casters that can be wheels, so we can push them to the side for other activities going on.
Good.
We were also able to order a chair caddy, so once we stack all the chairs, we can put them on the caddy and easily move them around if we needed to.
Good,
Nice.
So we're hoping that's here by the end of June.
good.
So the senior property tax work-off program is wrapping up now. The timesheets were due this past Friday, and I was really excited to see that we're only missing 6 out of the 107 that signed up for the program. We only needed 6, so everyone was really great about staying on track with that.
May I add here on that, in last year's book, I found very interesting, 9 veterans were on the veteran program, and
Yep.
over 200 were on your tax program. That's good.
And that veterans can do both.
Yes.
Mm.
I did receive a lot of feedback about this program that I just wanted to touch upon briefly. A lot of the feedback based upon the timeline of the program, having to get your timesheets in May when some of the paperwork says June 30th, which is the end of the fiscal year. So we're going to make sure the paperwork for next year is a little more clear about the timeline when things need to be in. I have to have all the paperwork processed and into the treasurer's office by the first week of June, so that's why the timeline is a little quicker. The other good chunk of the feedback was that there aren't enough positions available in the town for all the people wanting to do the work. I've definitely noticed that, and I've heard everyone give me that feedback. So myself and Cindy Philippe down in the treasurer's office have started reaching out to other departments, police and fire, electric, light and water, highway department, other departments that haven't done it before, to see if they're open and willing to having some senior help in there. So stay tuned. We're hoping to have some more positions
Because
available.
not everybody's clerical, I mean.
Right. There are some positions with George, who does our maintenance here. The cemetery commission needs some more additional help. Even in the cemetery department, they're looking for somebody to help with genealogy research. And they can partner up with the library as well, because I know we have a few folks over at the library. The thrift shop has a lot of help. They're looking for a new thrift shop manager. If anyone's interested in doing that, please reach out. But we're trying to create more positions so we can spread the work evenly.
So true, because, when I first started, years ago now, but you could do the senior write-off program. That was before I was involved in the CO and the board. But you could do the tax write-off program, and you could volunteer for Loaves and Fishes, the food pantry that services this town. And then they discontinued it. They stopped it. So, that was another avenue for people to utilize.
Yes,
So-
I did it for Loaves and Fishes also.
Yeah, so it's too bad they stopped it because, but,
We're trying to get creative and
Yep.
looking in places we haven't before, or haven't in a year or two. So
What about any businesses in town? Would that, you're talking about the police and fire, but what about other businesses? Would they
It has to be
do that, or it
related
it
to,
has to be for the town.
for the town.
has to be for the?
It's a town, it's a program, it's a town program, and so they have to be helping out the town in return for this benefit?
You're an employee of the town when you do this program. Okay, transportation I mentioned earlier, our van that's been in New York at the manufacturer getting repaired, they gave us an update, we hope to have it back in about 2 weeks. The wellness fair that in the past has been in October, we're hoping to have again in October. I have been working with the Littleton Public School Wellness Committee, who maybe about 10 years or more ago did a similar wellness fair. So I partnered up with them and we're creating a wellness fair that doesn't just reach seniors but also elders and human services like our department reaches. So we're trying to make it a little bigger than it has been before. We have 3 students from Northeastern University, they're nursing students doing their public health practicum clinical work with us down with the social club, and those 3 nursing students will help pull that together for us. So do a lot of the legwork.
Do you need any more, looking for any more places? Because the nursing homes,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, we have a pretty comprehensive list together, and when it's time to start sending out the invitations to see who's interested, we'll probably run it by everyone to see if we've missed anybody. Let's see. So there's a program called the Littleton Transition Program. It's a program for students who are ages 18 to 22. And in the past, these students, they have disabilities, they've been working with our thrift shop downstairs and also the senior diner, and it's been very successful. So I met with their teacher, Michelle, to see if we could expand it a little bit to open up another opportunity. So I'm very happy that we have one more student who's going to be joining us on Monday mornings, and she'll be in the office doing clerical work for us for a short period of time. So we're really excited about that we can open this up a little more.
the churches might use them too.
Maybe, yeah. They have to have a supervisor on site and,
Right.
yeah. But it's been a great program so far, so I'm really excited.
Right.
Speaking of excited, trips. Trips have been huge. I've heard everyone telling me that we want trips back. So we've been meeting with the Westford Council on Aging, who they have a person dedicated to doing trips there, a paid staff member. So they've been gracious enough to let us partner with them on trips. They will keep the head count and the manifests of who's signing up. And so far, they're putting together all the trips, letting us know so we can advertise. The first one is in June, and it's a Mohegan Sun / Foxwoods trip. And then in August, there's a trip to see Mamma Mia on the North Shore, and then there's also a lobster bake trip to Maine. And all that information will be put out in the newsletter.
And there's something very similar to that in the rec also, the park and rec
Yeah.
thing. They have a lobster.
But they're expensive
Yeah.
for seniors.
this is-
I went down there begging them to ask the bus companies for a senior discount. They'd rather have an empty seat than a senior with a lower rate. It didn't work.
Yeah, these are all senior rates.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
But may I add to this?
Sure.
Acton, Concord, Bedford, Westford, Groton, all have trips, and they welcome any town. I've been on all of them.
Yep.
New Bedford,
Yep.
or Bedford rather.
So we're going to gauge the popularity, see how many Littleton residents sign up. If it is a popular thing, maybe we can get together a van to drive people over to the, I think
To
it's the Franco
pickup
American.
place.
Yeah, the pickup place. So we'll gauge to see what the interest is like.
It's a very good opportunity to
Yeah, it
go.
is.
Buckingham is more than willing to participate. In fact, Groton came here, was it last year or a year before, when Carolyn was here, and they met trying to work out something. Groton person. COA.
So what COAs are having trips now? Do we know? Besides Westford, that we can utilize, we can go on theirs?
Yeah, how's the public gonna know about this?
Right. I think it's
Good question.
Yeah. So I've only met with Westford about this, but as I learn more about the other
It can
COAs,
expand.
Yeah.
It's-
We
yep.
can, we
And
can
then-
see who else we can team up with.
And as Liz said, you know, they're gonna see how it goes this time and then see what the interest is and then go from there.
Okay, just a couple more things. The broadcaster, our newsletter that's going out, some people have noticed that there is more tape. I've gotten some calls, there's more tape on the edges of the broadcaster. That's that's a request from the post office so they can go through the automatic sorting machine. So there will be 3 pieces of tape on the broadcaster instead of 1.
Oh,
And that's not just us
That's amazing.
adding more tape.
That's
That is a
amazing.
request. And I also just wanted to thank and acknowledge the Friends of the COA for donating to our newsletter mailing fund $650 so we can keep that newsletter going out.
great.
That's really nice.
Speaking of the Friends, I think there has been some discussion or some rumors going around about the prices of classes being raised. I had, over the past month or so, 2 instructors come to me and start the discussion of raising their rates per class, and would that mean raising the rate for the senior to pay. These 2 instructors have been with us a long time, and they're being very patient with me. I asked that they be
Who has
patient.
been asking this?
2 instructors have come to me.
Oh, instructor.
Yeah, 2 of the instructors. And they're being patient with me while I check with the other COAs and do a study of what other people are charging, because that was the basis for them coming to me, saying, well, I go to this COA and do classes there, and they pay me this rate, and they charge this rate. So I said, let me do some research in the area, what's going on, and I'm not making any changes yet.
promises,
Yeah, yeah. Now, it is, most of our classes are $3, except one is a $2 class. But some classes are subsidized by the Friends, and they don't come out of our COA budget. So it's a little more complex, so don't think any rates are being raised just yet. There'll definitely be more discussion.
Under investigation.
Yes. Yes, under study.
Yes. But that's good. It's good that people are speaking up so that they're not disgruntled and that we
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
we can work things out.
How do you keep track of sign-ins, event sign-ins, that people come in? I noticed quite a while ago when I was in Westford, they had, when you walk in, an attendance book, and you write why you're there and
Yeah.
your name. How do you do it?
Yeah. Well, actually, Westford is even more high-tech now. You walk up to a touch screen and you enter it in.
Oh,
You don't even have
really?
to talk to anybody.
Really?
We use attendance sheets. The instructor has the attendance sheet. They keep track of the names. They bring them back upstairs to the main office, and we input
Good.
that into my senior center database. And that's where we run all these numbers from. So when it says on the
Good.
statistics, 376 total sign-ins, that's how we got that number, from the attendance sheets coming upstairs and then being entered into our senior center database.
It's interesting because just today at the knitting group, the subject came up that there's not going to be any more, you know, the coupons, you know, to get something, go do something free, whatever. And something about signing in isn't gonna, they're getting rid of the coupons, so it isn't so important. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, the sign is, and it is more important because, you know, this data, it just supports everything that is going on for seniors, and we need the data. So signing in is very important. So I got that message out loud and clear today because I was like, how did that concept get around? You know, that, because there's no more coupon thing, or find the error in the broadcaster thing, you know.
And that might be reinvented down the line. We just had to reel it in for a moment to get a handle on it. And also the class sizes, the attendance, what we're charging, what the instructors are making. We just have to tidy things up for a little bit before we roll out something.
That's good. Change is good.
I do have a couple of comments on the raising of rates. I am really concerned that there are some people who go to the classes, and I'm in one of them, who really would struggle with raising the cost financially, which is rather amazing at $2, but it is a reality.
Right.
And they would, you know, the idea of giving scholarships is fine, except that most of them won't ask for them. They don't want to admit that they, and I don't know what the answer to that is, but I would hate to lose people from the classes. And I don't know how we get around that, but it really bothers me that if we cut anybody out, because I know that there are people for whom it is a burden, and
So, take-home message, every one of us starts to need to think creatively about maybe a way to, or some suggestions we could offer. Yeah, for
Have some
people.
free tickets,
Well, that's why,
but they'd have to ask for it.
well, that's the point.
Yeah,
They won't
there
do
you
that.
go.
it's like people needing food and not
One
wanting to
thing,
go
one
ask
thing
for
that
that.
Yeah.
find the error in the thing and so forth, and there was another one that they gave out. This was a way for them to do it without having to deal with it, though I don't know whether they were the ones that found the errors, or whether they were just, whether other people just took advantage of it. Who
Could you-
well afford the class.
This is for downstairs?
Yeah,
Could you put it in the broadcaster, a little bit of blurb?
Well, part of the issue was with the coupons. Any class sponsored by the Friends was not accepting coupons. Any senior diner or meal or ladies' breakfast or men's breakfast was not accepting a coupon. That only left about 2 classes where you could accept a coupon, which were funded through the COA recreation budget. So all the coupons were coming to us, essentially, and they weren't being spread out.
But nobody was, his friends weren't involved with the coupons.
Well, they were saying they wouldn't accept them at their classes anymore.
Oh, they wouldn't accept them in their classes.
Oh,
So Fit for Life is sponsored by the Friends, and you couldn't give a coupon for Fit for Life. Or
I
if you went
didn't
to
know
the
we gave them
lunch
for their classes, okay, I thought,
That's not very
their
friendly.
classes are not stretch and flex and yoga
No, it
and
isn't.
so
They
forth.
have their moments.
it's not fair, really, but
Yeah.
that's,
We'll
well,
come up with
she'll
a
work
winner.
it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll reinvent it in some way.
It is Friends of the COA.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll
they can be-
reinvent it some way. It
Yep.
just needs a little, we need to,
You need to give
Tidy it
it
up
some
first.
I'm
thought.
thinking more of the, not of the social classes, but the exercise classes, the yoga and so forth, that for some people who do come, and we took, I just think of one person who we encouraged for a long time and finally got her to come. And she puts down her $2 every week, for twice a week, and I'm not sure she can afford really to do it, but
Could we work through Tina? Tell them to go see
Well, Liz
Tina?
will work it out. Liz will work it out.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So, I thought this was gonna be a quick meeting today, everybody, and I just looked at the time and I'm horrified, so. May I have a motion to accept the reports?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Yep.
Accepting the reports, okay. Is there any other business to be discussed today?
Just one question, is this online? Is it up on the town website?
Yes, it is. If you'd like to, look through 120 pages, be my guest.
Is
That's why
this-
we had copies made for you, because
Thank you.
it occurred
I
to
like
me.
to read paper.
yeah.
Well, it occurred to me that, you know what, new board members probably have never, Maureen and Mary had never seen it either. So.
I've never seen it, and I look, remember when you called and asked me?
Well,
I
Mary,
looked
you
and
were,
looked.
you were here when it came out.
I don't know, I must have eaten it.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, second, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.